The bachelor's is before the master. I don't know, child. School ain't for me. That's why I don't know. Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's your girl Candace. I am back with another video. In today's video, I'm giving y'all a story time. Basically my dropping out of college story, y'all. I guess this is like a story time because I'm telling y'all about why I dropped out of college at the age of 20 and then started my business and everything like that. So I'm gonna give y'all the whole rundown, the whole tea, the whole little story time. So let's just go ahead and jump into this, okay? So I knew at a very early age, y'all, that school was not for me. Like, school just was not for me. In high school, when I was in high school, I skipped school so much. Like, I was barely there. I just hated school. I hated, like, I didn't hate learning per se, because I still be learning stuff now. I like to learn now, but I just hated school. Like, I just could never concentrate in school. I used to always get suspended because I used to skip school so much. I'm surprised I didn't get kicked out of school, but you know, when I got to my senior year of high school, I knew that I wanted to graduate on time. So like, I took so many extra classes to make up for the past classes that I skipped and didn't do. So I ended up graduating high school on time. So I graduated high school when I was supposed to. I graduated high school in 2014. Graduated high school when I was supposed to, but I graduated bottom of my class. I graduated high school with a little under a 2.0. And at first I used to be so ashamed to say that. Like, I used to be like, bro, that sounds so bad. Like, a little under a 2.0, like, I sound dumb. But at the end of the day, I'm in such a great financial situation right now. I'm doing better than some of the people who were valedictorians, top tier of my class. No shade, no tea. No shade, no tea, sorry. But so I felt like a grade point average did not define me. I'm not dumb. I'm very smart. I'm more business savvy than school savvy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not dumb. A GPA does not define you. Like, don't ever think a GPA defines you. Like, if you don't have a 4.0, you stupid. No, because if y'all look at some of these millionaires and billionaires, they dropped out of college and they invented stuff. I don't know exactly which billionaire because I don't want to get it wrong, but you know what I'm saying? Don't ever think a GPA is supposed to define you, because it don't. It don't define you, okay? So I graduated high school, and when I graduated high school, I didn't go to college my first year. So you know how like you graduate high school in May, and then in August you're supposed to go off to school. I did go visit colleges, and I'm not gonna lie, I mainly was going to college because back when I was in high school, like, being an entrepreneur was not something that I was thinking about. Being an entrepreneur was not something that like I just wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't just like, oh, I want to start a business. Like, that was never really on my mind. I didn't have that mindset back then. I was what, 18, 19 years old. I was not thinking about that, child. When I graduated high school, all I was thinking about was freedom. Like, my first year out of high school, mainly what I did was party, be with dudes I wasn't supposed to be with. I worked a fast food job part-time where I was making minimum wage. And I don't know if I can say smoking a lot on, you know, I don't know if I can say the actual word on YouTube, but I was smoking a lot. And I was just like not doing what I was supposed to do. So I decided to finally go to college. I started going to college in 2015. My first college I went to was called GGC, so it's Georgia Gwinnett College in Lawrenceville, Georgia. You may have heard of it, you may have not heard of it. It's a kind of a fairly new college. I don't think it's been around for 10 years. So that's why it's not a university, because I know in order for college to be a university, it has to be around for like 10 years straight. So that's why it's not a university, but it's a 4-year college. It's just a new college, so that's why it's not like Georgia Gwinnett University, but that's neither here or there. I went to college, and I stayed on the dorm, and I hated staying on the dorm. First of all, I hated staying on the dorm because I had to share everything with somebody else. Like, having a roommate ain't really for me. Like, maybe one roommate is cool, but I was like sharing a dorm with like 4 other girls. Like, it was like 2 of our rooms was on this side, then in the middle it was like the kitchen and the living room, and then on the other 2 sides was the other 2 girls' rooms, and then we shared one bathroom, and then there was a bathroom on the other side that they shared. I didn't like that, okay? I like my personal space. I like to be able to do what it is I want to do. I was sleeping on a twin bed. I ain't used to no twin bed. College beds are so uncomfortable. I sound so bougie, but it was the truth. So I started going to college. I was taking my classes or whatever, and I was taking my classes. I was doing what I had to do, you know, taking my classes, whatever. But it's just like, college just started to get, I don't know, college started to just get real repetitive. I was doing good in college for a minute. Then I met this dude. So then I met this dude in, at the college, and he lived on campus, and I started messing with him. Then I started partying with him. I started smoking with him. I started drinking with him. I just started doing a whole bunch of stuff that I was not supposed to be doing with him. And on college, and it took a turn for the worse. My grades started to drop, but my grades were already kind of dropping before I even met him, and it was kind of because like I just kind of was like, school just really ain't for me. So when I met old dude, it just went straight downhill. Like, it just went straight downhill. So like, I kept getting warnings from, like, you know, right before they put you on academic probation. So I was getting warnings, and I was like trying to pick my grades up, and then I got put on academic probation. And when I got put on academic probation, they had me on academic probation for like a year, and I was like trying to do better, and it just didn't work. Like, I just wasn't feeling it. And then eventually I got kicked out. So I got kicked out of college. I got kicked out of Georgia Gwinnett College, and I was like, dang. I told my mom. My mom was like disappointed, because my mom, she has like her bachelor's and her master's and all this stuff. Like, my mom actually like graduated college, and like she got like the degrees and on the wall, like real deal type. And I felt like that if I didn't like continue on, because I'm my mom's only child, so I felt like I needed to continue on that legacy of like going to college and doing all of that. But it ain't work like that. So I got kicked out of GGC, and when I got kicked out of college, I started working jobs. So I started working like fast food jobs. I was working at Crystal, no, not Crystal. I started working at O'Charlie's. I got fired from there. Then I started working at Nordstrom. So I was working at Nordstrom while I was in college, but I got fired from Nordstrom. Then I started working at Belk, and I worked at Belk for like the whole time I was there. So I was working at Belk, and I was working at Mall of Georgia. So if y'all live in Georgia, then you probably know. If you live in the Atlanta area, then you probably know about the places I'm talking about. But I lived in Mall of Georgia. Mall of Georgia is down the I worked at Mall of Georgia. Mall of Georgia is down the street from Georgia Gwinnett College. So I was working there, but I was only working there because I was staying on the dorm. So I kind of skipped a step. I kind of forgot to tell y'all, while I was in college, I was working at odd jobs, but then like I said, I got fired from 2 of them, and then I started working at Belk. And so I was working there, and while I was in college, but then I got kicked out of college. So when I got kicked out of college, I had to go move out of my dorm and go back to my mom's house. But my mom's house was 45, almost an hour away from Georgia Gwinnett College. So it was like I had to drive an hour to go to my job. So So I was doing that for about a year, and then I tried to re-enroll back into college because I'm like, okay, I'm actually gonna do good this time. You know, I really want to try this college thing again. So I went back to Georgia Gwinnett because they told me after I get kicked out, I can, after a year, I can come back and I can try again or whatever. So when I came back, they was telling me, you know, I have to pay for school out of pocket because I was on academic probation. I have to get a certain grade point average for the financial aid to start paying again, so I had to start paying out of pocket. So my mom was like, she will pay for me to go to school out of pocket. So my mom was paying for me to go to school out of pocket, and then I would just pay her back. So I was going, so then a year after, I was going back to school. And another reason why I wanted to go back to school was because, like I said, I was working at Belk. So I was working at the mall down the street from my school. So I'm like, I want to go and like, I want to go back to school because it's no point of me working at this mall if I don't go to school out here. If I don't do, you know, I don't got no reason to be out here to be working this far. So I was like, I'm going to go back to school. So I went back to school and I was taking like 3 classes. Y'all, I went back to school, failed them classes. My mom was pissed. I failed them, and the reason why I failed them was because like I couldn't figure out why. Like I'm going to school, I'm trying my best, and I'm still failing. Like, and I'm thinking like, I just don't think this school stuff is for me. But again, I was like, I had it in my head, but I'm like, no, school has to be for me because what am I gonna do if I don't go to school? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't go to school, what am I gonna do with my life? So tell you what I did. So I failed them classes, and I'm back on academic probation. Like, I'm back on academic probation again. Well, I got off of it, and I was like not on academic probation, but I was like on academic watch, where like, because okay, so basically how it worked was that when I got kicked out of college, when I got kicked out of Georgia Gwinnett College, GGC, when I got kicked out of GGC, they told me I couldn't come back for 2 semesters, so like a year. So I couldn't come back for a year. I could come back in 2 semesters, and then I could be on academic watch. And then academic watch is where I can still attend classes, but I just can't have financial aid pay for me. They're basically watching to see if I'm gonna pass my classes to give me my financial aid back and take me off academic probation. So that's what academic watch was. And I was on that academic watch, still failed my classes. And I'm like, how am I failing my classes? Like, how am I failing my classes? I'm sitting here trying. And my mom was pissed because she wasted her money, and I paid, like, she literally paid out of pocket. So when I failed them classes, I was back on academic probation. I'm like, if I fail again, I'm gonna get kicked out again and have to do this process over. Well, I don't know if they're gonna let me do this process over again, but I'm just like, I ain't even about to do it. So when I failed that first semester, I came back. You know, they was emailing me like, do you want to register for a second semester, blah, blah, blah. I just was like, no. So I said, I'm not even going back to GC, whatever. So I'm thinking maybe it's the school. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's the school. So I ended up quitting my job at Belk because it was too far away for me to be working, and I'm not going to school out here anymore. So there's no point in me coming all the way out here, and it didn't pay enough for me to drive an hour away. Like, it paid $9 an hour. Imagine working at a job that pays $9 an hour and you driving an hour away every day from, I don't know about y'all, but I ain't doing it. So I left, I quit my job. I got a job closer to my mom's house, and I started going to Georgia Piedmont College. So Georgia Piedmont College was like around the corner from my mom's house. Now Georgia Piedmont College is a technical college, so I said, let me start a little smaller, let me go to technical college. So I enrolled in the technical college. I went to the orientation, all that whoop-de-whoop. I went to school for the first day, right? I went in there for the first day and went to class for the first day, and I never went back. Like, I went to class the first day, got the syllabus, looked at the syllabus, looked at all the stuff that I was learning, went to my classes for the first day, and never went back. So I left that. And the reason why I didn't go back, because I'm like, I don't want to do this. So I left that, and then I'm like, okay, few months go by, I'm like, I really need to get like really focused on school. Like I really need to get focused on school, like really. So I'm like, okay, let me try another college. So then I tried to go to Strayer. So Strayer University, you probably heard of it. They commercials be on TV all the time. Strayer University, that's like a technical college. I tried to go there. I went to that college for like 2 weeks. I went to that college for like I went to that college for 2 weeks. I had missed 1 day because I overslept and I missed my class and I never went back. Y'all, like I'm kid you not, never went back. And I'm like, why do I keep doing this? This is my 3rd college that I done went to, ain't never go back. So I'm like, okay, let me stop playing. So then like a year later, a year and a half later, I tried to go to Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State is in Kennesaw, Georgia. I tried to go to that school because I was working at my job. Well, I'm still working at this job. I was working at my job, and my job is like 20 minutes away from Kennesaw State. So I'm like, let me try to go to school out here, right? So I go to Kennesaw State, and they make me take the Accuplacer test. So if you don't know what the Accuplacer test is, it's basically where my grades from my first college, Georgia Gwinnett College, because that's the college I went to the longest, my grades were not technically good enough to get into regular college. So I kind of had to test my way into that school because my grades from my previous college were not good enough for me to just be straight up accepted. So they were like, you have to test your way into it. So I'm like, okay. So I took the Accuplacer test, y'all. I kid you not, I took that test 7 times. I took that test 7 times. 7 times. The first time, it consists of reading, writing, and math. The reading and writing I passed the first time, but I took the math portion of the test 7 times and I kept failing. And I'm like, bump this. I was tired, y'all. So I was just like, I can't do it. So I just kind of was like, when I really started to look into my options, I'm just like, I cannot do this school thing anymore. I cannot do the school thing. I just cannot do this school thing anymore. I can't do it. Just me and college, school just doesn't mix for me. Like school just don't mix. I can't with school. It just was never for me. Like I said, I barely graduated high school and it wasn't for me then. And I think the only reason why I tried to go to college is because, number one, my mom went to college. She got her master's and all that stuff like that. I don't really know all the degree terms, so please excuse me, but I know she has her master's for a fact, but I don't know. I think the bachelor's is before the master. I don't know, child. School ain't for me, that's why I don't know. So like my mom, she went to college and I didn't want to disappoint her. Like, and the reason why I'm making this YouTube video is because I recently, like y'all, no lie, I recently just told my mom I'm not going back to school. Like I just told her because she's been talking about it for months. Like, Candace, I think you should go back to school. Candace, I think you should go back to school and do this. You should go back to school and do that. And every time I heard, I'm like, yeah, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to no damn school, lady. I'm not going back to nobody college. I'm not going. So we recently just had this full-blown talk, and I was like, so at my big age, I was scared to tell my mom that I did not want to go back to school, but like she was really supportive about it. She told me that she seen me being an Instagram model, which was weird. I was like, what? Yeah, that was a real weird conversation right there when she said that. But I told her, like, I didn't want to go back to school. What I want to do is I want to be a full-time YouTuber. I want to do my graphic and marketing business. I want to, like, you know, maybe possibly be an influencer, stuff like that. Like, that's the stuff that I want to do. That's the stuff that I enjoy doing. And it's like a lot of things I feel like college couldn't teach me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain stuff. Like, I learned so much about business and marketing on my own. I learned about graphic design on my own. I'm self-taught. I started my business, my hair business, and I made $50,000 in my hair business without no type of business and marketing college education. Like, I learned all of that on my own, self-taught, learned things from Instagram, learned things from research and studying from online. Like, college, people go to college for 4 years to get some stuff that you can learn online in about an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's dumb. It's not dumb. I don't want to say it's dumb, but it's just like, it just wasn't for me. Like, I just kind of felt like I could make more money doing, you know, other stuff. Like, you see that it's people who are millionaires that haven't even touched a college. So I just decided that I just never wanted to go back. Like, I just don't want to go back to college. I made it up in my head, like, now I know that I'm not going back, so I just don't want to go back. And that's kind of like my story with that. I went to 3 different colleges and effed up all 3 times, dropped out of basically 2 colleges. I dropped out of 2 colleges. Like, it's just crazy to me. It's crazy. Like, it's insane. It's insane. It is insane, y'all. It's a lot. And so, you know, if you're kind of feeling how I'm feeling and you're just like, I don't know if I want to go back to school, listen, you don't have to go to college to make something of your life. You don't have to go to college to be successful. I feel like college is, to me, in my personal opinion, I feel like college is only good if you want to do something in the doctor field. Lord. If you want to do something in the medical field, or if you want to do something in the law field. But anything other than that, I truly don't feel like you need college for real. When I was in college though, my first major was criminology because I wanted to be, okay, so at first I wanted to be a homicide detective like the people on First 48. I love First 48. I wanted to do that. Then I decided I wanted to be a judge, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to be a judge. So I decided I want to be a lawyer. But then when I seen how many years you have to be in school to be a lawyer, and how much reading you have to do to be a lawyer, and how many tests you had to take to be a lawyer, I said, no. No. Then I decided that I wanted to do something in HR. So I wanted to be an HR manager. I wanted to do fashion, not fashion, what was it called? I think it was fashion management, design management. I wanted to do that. I wanted to basically be in like the HR management kind of field. So then I was looking into that, but then I'm like, you know, it was stupid. It was dumb. So now, right now for me, I'm just kind of like building up my business. Building my brand up, being consistent with my brand, and just building myself up, because like I said, I decided that I'm not going back to college. Like, that's just like a decision that's just in my head right now. I'm through. I don't want to go to college. I'm not going back to college, and that's just that. So that is my story on basically how I dropped out of 2 colleges. And yeah, y'all, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helped you guys if you're kind of in that stuck place between wanting to go to college and not want to go to college. Like, so yeah, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.